Mumbai studios of Republic TV. It's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group and Century Ply.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. Hindus have human rights too. Yes, Hindus have human rights too. Today, another Hindu from Rajasthan working in Kashmir in Kulgam was shot dead. Another targeted killing of a Hindu. So tonight, I want to address my Kashmiri brothers and sisters. My Kashmiri brothers and sisters in Kashmir and outside, anywhere in India or the world, please listen to me. Do not stay silent. Show your solidarity with your fellow Indians being butchered in your state, being butchered in Kashmir. And many of them butchered only because they are Hindus. Raise your voice, my Kashmiri brothers and sisters, I say. Raise your voice, end the Omar Mehbooba type of hypocrisy. Don't say. This is part of the Kashmir problem. Don't be a hypocrite like Farooq and say, it will end if we talk to Pakistan. Let's not be hypocrites. Pakistan is the problem. And talking to the problem is never a solution. My dear Kashmiri brothers and sisters, please understand. For unless Kashmiris raise their voice so loud that we can hear it, become vocal, and hit the roads in Kashmir against these communal killings, the message won't go home. So dear Kashmiri brothers and sisters, it is in our collective interest and yours to speak up about Hindus being killed in Kashmir. Don't fall for the entitled garbage that opportunists like Omar spew about another killing. Omar is an absolute opportunist because his stripe on Twitter is typed under the security of massive taxpayer-paid security cover that we pay for. If Omar thinks or his father thinks New Delhi is the problem or is creating problems, then why do he and his father so gratefully accept free security cover, free this, free that, from the people they abuse all the time and blame for all their problems? Viewers, and finally the government. And on this, my position is at variance with the government. For the government has to do a real crackdown, a real complete crackdown. Let it be for weeks, if not months, if not years. Just close down Kashmir. My view, close down Kashmir and clear up the mess. And whichever way you have to, eliminate every single terrorist and every single terrorist supporter. Forget about what the rags will say. Forget about what the rags and pamphlets published in New York will say. Forget about any foreign pressure, what the media will say globally, etc. It doesn't matter. It is our problem. We have to fix it. Use the army and the paramilitary and clean up the mess properly. For we must understand what we are on the edge of. We are on the edge of what unfortunately appears to be the final Hindu exodus. And yes, that's why I began by saying, Hindus have human rights too. Yes, they do. And nobody becomes communal by saying it loudly. Hindus have human rights too. Let's debate, ladies and gentlemen. Another Hindu shot dead by terrorists in Kashmir, targeted killings, fears of mass migration. What's the government going to do? Debate number 2 tonight. The PFI files reveal shocking details about the depth of the threat the PFI is to the nation. How can there not be a ban? There must be a ban. Mega exclusive tonight. And opposition claims agencies are being used to target them, but on merit. Don't each of the cases stand on merit? That's the corruption debate at 10:30. And here are the headlines. This Thursday evening on the debate tonight. Another Hindu killed in cold blood in Kashmir. Vijay Kumar, a bank manager, is the 6th targeted killing in a few weeks. Kashmiri Hindus forced to pack up, prepare to leave the valley. Are we headed back to the 1990s? The clock is ticking. The centre must act to prevent another Hindu exodus. It's now or never. Sensational PFI files are out. Shocking details of the entire funding dossier are on the show tonight. From terror activity to mention of civil war, links to China and the Gulf, can the extremist outfit be allowed to proliferate anymore? And Sonia and Rahul summoned. Satyendra Jain in ED custody. Sonia gets COVID, won't appear. We debate the corruption crackdown and the agencies in all-out mode tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, a bank employee from Rajasthan posted in Kulgam in Kashmir, Vijay Kumar, shot dead while diligently at work. His killing adds another name to a long list of targeted Hindu killings in the valley. Kashmiri Pandits and Hindus are gripped with fear. They want safety or a way out of the region. The government is yet to shed its present approach. So will there be a hashtag Hindu exodus or an all-out operation? Let's debate.
At 10:50 a.m., 26-year-old Vijay Kumar, who worked as a bank manager in Kulgam, was shot dead in cold blood.
Reporting from that very branch where terrorists barged in and fired upon branch manager Vijay Kumar, who hails from the Rajasthan and was working here at Ilakai Dehati Bank branch of Aru in Kulgam, South Kashmir.
तो कितना अच्छा मैनेजर था?
बहुत अच्छा
हेल्पफुल था?
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा लड़का।
तो कितने टाइम से यहाँ पे तैनात था?
बहुत टाइम हो गया इसका।
A Pakistan-sponsored terror group has taken responsibility and threatened all locals. Just 2 days ago, 36-year-old Kashmiri Hindu teacher Rajni Bala was shot dead. She had written multiple letters seeking security.
इससे पहले हमने मेमोरेंडम दिया था डीसी साहब को, उसके बाद ये चिट्ठी लिखी है टू द वर्दी चीफ एजुकेशन ऑफिसर कुलगाम को, एप्लीकेशन फॉर डिप्लॉयमेंट on security ground.
Families of those like Rahul Bhatt, who was shot dead in Chadura last month, say no part of Kashmir makes them feel safe anymore.
आपको लगता है श्रीनगर में कोई सेफ जगह है? रास्ते में तो जाओगे ना, तो रास्ते में कैसे जाओगे? वो तो वहीं पे खड़े होके रास्ते में खड़े हो जाएंगे, तो जैसे गोलियां वो उधर से भी चला सकते हैं. वहाँ पे कैसे कोई सेफ रह सकता है?
Kashmiri Pandits have been protesting and demanding transfers.
उन्होंने अपनी नीति बदल दी है. अकेले अकेले आते हैं, रिवॉल्वर के साथ गोली चलाते हैं और बंदा मार देते हैं. अब हमको भी अपनी नीति बदलने का प्रयास करना होगा, और जब तक टारगेट किलिंग हम भी नहीं करेंगे, बालाकोट जैसी, अभिनंदन जैसे लोग वहाँ नहीं भेजेंगे, तब तक इसका समाधान नहीं होगा.
मास माइग्रेशन से शुरू हो चुकी है. हमारे एम्प्लॉयज ने अपना सामान उठा के निकलने जा रहे हैं आगे.
Pandits want to pack up and leave.
इस पार्शियलिटी से हम ये चाहते हैं कि हमें ट्रांसफर किया जाए फ्रॉम कश्मीर टू जम्मू.
This is an announcement that we all rented employees have decided that we are leaving the valley and we are not going to come back here because there is no security.
And there are some who say the administration is not letting them leave Kashmir.
जाने नहीं दे रहे यहाँ से.
But these pictures indicate that many are already finding ways to exit the region. The warning by Kashmiri Hindus of mass migration in face of targeted killings is a grim reminder of the 1990 Kashmiri Pandit exodus. All eyes will be on what is decided in the big Home Minister-led security meeting on Friday. Because tonight, anything less than an unsparing all-out operation will just not be enough this time around. Let's debate.
And I just want to begin by making a request to the opportunists. I must address them right on top, like Omar and Mehbooba, that out of shame and also in compliance with their own stated positions, they should give up their Z plus security cover. They should not demand that they should have 50 to 60 people in their security, including NSG commandos and police officers, because they abuse the government, they abuse the people, they abuse their own country on a daily basis, and yet they gratefully accept security from them. In any case, I think Ashok Pandit, I think security should be taken away from Omar and Mehbooba and given to the Kashmiri Pandits and the Hindus in Kashmir who truly deserve it. So I just want to begin by asking you, Ashok, R.K. Mattu, maybe you can start by telling me why are Kashmiri Pandits not staying back, and why are they all saying that we will not accept any assurances by the government anymore that we will go back? Why are they saying that?
Thanks, Arnab, for calling me after a long time, and I would like to request the fellow panelists not to speak over me. Let me speak for a few minutes. One, see, the Kashmir, what we have come to know now, it's a religious war and not a political issue at all. Let us be very clear about it, and Government of India should not mince words saying that it's not a religious issue. It's a religious issue, 100% a religious issue. Second thing, they have given us so many assurances, but they cannot use us as a cannon fodder. We are getting killed, we are getting this thing. But at the same time, people would like to go back. We would like to go back to our homeland. This is how they lured the PM package employees. If you see the agreements with the PM package employees, they are all faulty, they are illegal, where they have no voice. It's a one-sided agreement. But even then, they would like to keep them there. Second thing is, okay, they are all there. I was there last week when Rahul Bhatt was killed. I was there on that day in Kheer Bhavani. I was there for 3-4 days, and I was totally rejected because I went to Kashmir after 2 years. Because of COVID, I couldn't go. And I saw it is a total radicalization has taken place there, and there is no remorse. Government of India should first understand, and they should declare the Kashmiri killings as genocide. If they don't do it, they have to, they cannot resolve the issue there at all.
Losing you there. I think the point is made. I want Ashok Pandit to take over. Ashok Pandit, you can continue where R.K. Mattu left. Please, Ashok.
Arnab, the reason is very obvious. You know, we, from last nearly a month since the time Rahul Bhatt was killed gruesomely, we have been making appeals in a much educated way, in a much democratic way, without picking up guns, without killing anyone, without beating anyone. We are on the streets and we are demanding that we should be relocated officially from Kashmir to Jammu or any other place in the country. But our voices were not heard. It went on deaf ears. And killings after killings kept on happening. So naturally it's very obvious that we are losing trust and confidence in the present regime. Because what happened in return, they didn't listen to us, but they fired tear gas shells on us. They put water cannons on us. They sealed us. They locked us up in our camps, in our colonies, and they treated us like terrorists.
Yeah.
So that confidence which has been shattered of a Kashmiri Pandit is forcing us to go from there.
No, I also say this, that first of all, will we be honest people and say clearly, Madhukeshwar, clearly we will say today that Hindus are being killed in Kashmir. That there are these groups who don't want a single Hindu in Kashmir. It's a reality. Let's not try to be too pseudo-secular about it. I think we'll have to say it.
I'm grateful to you, Arnab, for saying it so clearly. I'm truly grateful to you. This is ethnic cleansing, so total. And this is also the real face of Islam, which is jihad. That's a mandate they cannot escape if they have to be good Muslims. And can you imagine today in Kashmir, Hindus are not even a micro or even a nano minority. They're so tiny that they can't even tolerate this little. If anything, the same process is spreading to Jammu province. Rajouri, Poonch, Ramba, and so many districts of Jammu province have been witnessing exactly this phenomena. And I, with folded hands, request you or not to pay attention to what's happening there, because that's equally serious. Because once they had Jammu cleansed of Hindus and they're spreading, coming closer to Kathua was another such demographic invasion plan when they went for this Asifa case. The point that I'm trying to make is that the government of India is fighting a very mild defensive battle. They never go for the bosses of these terrorist groups. And bosses are not just Lashkar-e-Toiba and the known terrorist groups, which also need to be tackled, the bosses, but also PDP and NC. I won't be surprised if these people, these youngsters who are, acting as foot soldiers of jihad, are being instigated by PDP, NC, who wish to actually bring down who wish to prove that Article 370 cancellation has.
So why do you feel they are being? Why do you feel they are playing it defensively? I also agree with you, but I want your reasoning.
I think this vote bank politics and the fear of international condemnation. Arnab, you can speak plainly only and only because you don't care what Washington Post says about you. You don't care whether or not Harvard invites you for a lecture. You don't care to be included among this list of global leaders. You know that mafia that are being trained by the US. You don't care about those things. You care about what your people in this country think about you and how to articulate their sentiments, their aspirations. That's why you can speak the truth. The moment a politician starts either worrying about the vote bank, and the vote bank, which is elusive, at least the Congress, managed to keep the Muslim vote bank captive. If they gave them concessions, they also kept them captive. But with BJP, they're not even going to get token votes from this bank. And secondly, the BJP is just too timid about how the world will view it, what the international media will say, what the foreign universities will say, instead of giving them a punch in the nose. And in fact, I would say whenever these foreign papers spread lies about India, the government of India or its agencies should actually file defamation suits against them. The government can do that when they are proven lies. They don't do that. They take it lying low. If anything, they try to placate. So unless you go for the bosses who are ordering these killings, there's no point. When I say defensive, it also means after every killing, they say, 3 days later, we neutralize so-and-so. What does that mean? That means you're waiting for people to get killed. Then you will Anand may shoot a couple of terrorists who are mere foot soldiers, but you don't vote for the bosses.
I think
Lock them up.
I think we must also, along with what you are saying, I began by addressing Kashmiri brothers and sisters. I want to tell you, Kashmiri brothers and sisters, please understand. If you don't speak up, your state will come to a grinding halt. There are 11 million migrant workers. They are integral to Kashmir's economy. Kashmiri brothers and sisters, speak up. Your state will not run without those who are migrants. Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti will not run the state. They are the parasites. So Kashmiri brothers and sisters, learn to speak up. डरिए मत. डर के आगे जीत है ना? ये समझ लीजिए आप. ये चुप रहना, कुछ नहीं बोलना, 2 दिन नहीं बोलना, फिर एक generalized statement करना, enough rubbish. There are 56 Pandit teachers, 3,841 educated migrant employees. Let them go. Will Kashmir run? Most of the 41,000 laborers across the Union territory are migrants. You want them to go? Let's see how Kashmir runs. 4 lakh migrant laborers run the real estate in Kashmir. Let them go. Let them go. We may call them migrants, but they are in their country. Let them go. I will see which building will ever be constructed, which shopping mall will ever operate. Kashmir will come to a grinding halt. So I want to tell all the people today who are like, quiet, it's okay. We'll put out a tweet about it. I'm not even talking about the finances. The billions that are put in by the government of India, taxpayer money, without that Kashmir will come to a grinding halt. It's time we tell the reality as well. So I address the Kashmiri brothers and sisters. But Gaurav and Dr. Nirmal Singh, who has been former Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. Sentiments are high. And everyone cannot be wrong, Gaurav, that somewhere the BJP has gone a little soft. And I think there needs to be a return to the hard line. Gaurav.
Arnab, I would like to start the debate by extending heartfelt condolences to the family of Vijay Kumar. He was our brother, and the pain is shared by all. You introduced the debate by saying that there is a chance of another exodus. So let me make it very clear, unequivocally I say, till Narendra Modi ji is the Prime Minister of India, there will never be another exodus like the 1989-1990.
But it's happening, Gaurav.
Our priority remains, let me just complete my point, and that is why reassuring everyone is important, Arnab, and I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Let me just complete my point. Then you may intervene and ask me any question that you want to. See, our priority remains, Arnab, providing adequate security. And Madhuji was saying that the government should not be defensive and there should be a punch in the nose. Madhuji, this government is not defensive, it is rather offensive. I'll tell you why. We'll punch them so hard that their nose will break. And in 2022 alone, 94 terrorists have been killed. You also know that Rahul Bhatt, our brother, when he was killed, within 24 hours, the murderer was also shot down. In another case, within 48 hours, the army ensured that the terrorist is gunned down. And it's not a sign of weakness when Yasin Malik is facing life imprisonment. It is not a sign of weakness when JKLF and Jamaat-e-Islami are banned. It is not a sign of weakness when leaders like Mehbooba Mufti, who spew venom, are detained. And I want to make it very clear, we are very sensitive to the needs of the citizens and the Kashmiri minority, the Hindus there. But at the same time, we will always retaliate from a position of strength.
No. It will also not be an expression of weakness to take back the Black Cat commandos from Farooq and his son. It will not be an expression of weakness to deny Z category security to Mehbooba Mufti when she says there is no reason to feel insecure about Pakistani terrorists. Let her feel secure and arrange for her own security. Why should they be given the second highest level of security protection, 55% workforce, 10 NSG commandos? It's an absolute insult. Let them feel what it feels to be a Hindu in Kashmir as well. Let them feel vulnerable, Gaurav. Make them feel vulnerable. They will understand they have no empathy. You have to step in, and there has to be, there has to be the spirit that was there after the abrogation of 370.
Let me respond.
No, my point is I want Dr. Nirmal Singh also to come in. Today, Dr. Nirmal Singh, you know it's a BJP which is being questioned. It's a reality. is the BJP which is being questioned, that why, when there is a BJP government at the center, are Hindus saying, come together, we'll meet here and we'll all live together? What can be more tragic than that? Dr. Nirmal Singh, what can be more tragic than that?
Arnab, I agree, but we have to be united at this juncture. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
I'm hearing you.
Please. Arnab, I agree. There is a anger. There is a anger. The people, they are scared. And ultimately, due to threat to their life, they are saying that we will migrate. But we have to see that it's a proxy war. But our enemy wants. What's the strategy of the army? We must understand it. I agree that it's the primary duty of the government to provide security to the people. And I fully agree with you that there should be an all-out operation.
Arnab, I just want to come in.
There is.
Arnab, I just want to
listen. Please listen.
I just want
please
to remind
listen.
Nirmal Singh ji.
Please listen. I fully agree, Arnab. I fully agree with you that there should be an all-out operation against them. And for that, the easy target, whether they are Kashmiri Pandits or other employees, they have to be taken to a secure places. That's there. But
we are
have
not
to see
migrating,
that
we are getting displaced. Nirmal Singh ji, we are not migrating, we are getting displaced. There is a difference between migration and displacement. We are not going out on our own whims and fancies and on our ways.
I agree.
We have been removed from there.
For that.
So it is displacement, it is not migration. So let's not use wrong words. And secondly, Nirmal ji,
I agree.
The reality is
it's a
that all the people living in rented accommodation,
I agree.
all the people, all the Kashmiri Pandits living in rented accommodations have left Kashmir
and
today.
Pakistan and Pakistani terrorists,
Kashmir Pandits
they
have
want
left
that
Kashmir today.
the people
They've
must
already
migrate
started going out.
from displacement.
They've already
Leave
started
this Kashmir
leaving.
Valley. That's the strategy of
They've already started leaving.
That's the strategy of
So
the
this is
enemy.
a wrong perception, Nirmal ji. This is a wrong perception that we are not leaving. We are already left.
I agree with you.
Kashmiri Pandits have started.
You are not
Kashmiri
migrants,
Pandits have
you are
already started
displaced
leaving.
people.
Nirmal ji, जितने भी लोग rented accommodations थे, उन्होंने आज सुबह से निकलना शुरू कर दिया.
What do you mean शुरू कर दिया? Are you saying they are already moving out? Are you saying they are already moving out?
Yes, they already started moving out.
Nirmal Singh ji, they are already moving out. And there are messages going, please congregate here, we will all live together. It's a reality. Mr. Nirmal Singh, you don't need to see Kashmir Files to know what's going on. Kashmir Files is going on right now. Kashmir Files is not a movie, it's a reality now, Mr. Nirmal Singh. It's happening today.
Arnab, Kashmiri Pandits living in rented accommodations have left Kashmir. They've already started leaving.
Falling to trap, what would you do?
We are not falling.
No, falling to trap. You say falling to trap, what would you do? If you, okay, so you say, Dr. Nirmal Singh, I want to show you a picture today.
It's your failure.
Of the bank manager, the way he was killed. I want to show the pictures. Can I just say one thing, please? I want to show full frame some images. Dr. Nirmal Singh, 1 minute, please. Can I say this, viewers? Just look at these pictures. You can see the footage of the bank office with no one at the hour. You see the man, how he steps in. He assesses the situation. He does a recce. Then he shoots at Vijay Kumar, who is sitting on his desk with a computer and a few files in front of him. The fact of the matter is, as I play the footage again, you will realize this man knows who he is. He knows he's a Hindu. And he's working in a bank. He's like Rahul Bhatt. He's like Rahul Bhatt. He knows he's a Hindu. Now, therefore, today, any Hindu, Ashok, any Hindu, Gaurav Bhatia, any Hindu will feel, I will be the next Vijay Kumar. And Kashmir Files is happening. Viewers, please understand today. Kashmir Files is happening today. The exodus has begun again. That's how serious the situation is, Gaurav. There is no anger here. It's the reality. Something extreme needs to be done to deal with the extreme situation. And I'm suggesting, viewers, to all of you, please please you address Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti and you tell them that since you cannot speak against the terrorists, either Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti admit that Hindus are being killed and they make a public disclosure of it. Omar and Mehbooba, particularly very active on social media, should say Hindus are being targeted. Don't say targeted killings, don't make generalize, say Hindus are being killed in Kashmir. If they don't admit that, then they don't even deserve the security that they are getting from an Indian taxpayer. That admission must happen. But Gaurav, you're seeing the pictures. The exodus is happening. It's a reality. It's not being made up. It's a reality. It's the truth of Kashmir today.
Arnab, our responsibility, I absolutely agree with you. Our responsibility is to instill confidence in the Hindu community residing in Kashmir that they are safe. And drastic decisions will be taken. You will see a meeting is going on even when we debate this, and we just want to make one appeal. The appeal is very simple. Why is it that Rahul Gandhi, Ashok ji, मैं एक मिनट अपनी बात पूरी कर लूं अगर आप कहें तो.
गौरव जी एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं आपसे, एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं, if you don't mind, with due respect to you. गौरव जी मुझे एक बात समझाइए. राहुल भट्ट उसी तरह से मारा गया ऑफिस में जिस तरह से आज विजय कुमार मारा गया. अगर राहुल भट्ट को एक महीने पहले उसके दफ्तर में घुस के मारा, उसके बाद क्या स्टेप्स लिए गए कि विजय कुमार नहीं मारा जा सकता, विजय कुमार की हत्या नहीं होनी चाहिए थी, रजनी बाला की स्कूल में नहीं हत्या होनी चाहिए थी. क्या स्ट्रेटेजी है, क्या प्लान है? एक एक आदमी मरता जा रहा है और हम मीटिंगें कर रहे हैं. इसीलिए हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस शैटर हुआ है. ये आप एश्योरेंस की बात कर रहे हैं ना, हमें इंटेंशन पे डाउट नहीं है, हमें पता है कि इंटेंशन राइट है, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम है द फेलियर ऑफ द सिस्टम इन कश्मीर इज व्हाट इज बॉदरिंग अस. व्हाई हैव वी नॉट बीन रिलोकेटेड टू जम्मू? व्हाई हैव वी बीन अलाउड एज अ फॉडर टू द टेररिस्ट टू कम एंड किल अस?
No, sir, we want revenge. I say it very clearly, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. We the people clearly want revenge against those who are carrying out these killings. How many people? In fact, I'm just getting some information right now that is coming in on one of our groups, and I'm verifying this information, Gaurav, even as I speak, that there has been an attack on another non-local laborer somewhere in Budgam. Right now. 2 injured. Right now. I'm getting information right now. This is right now.
India, attack on Hindus, attack on Hinduism.
Yeah, 2 injured right now. Non-locals right now.
This is not a political war. This is a religious war. This is what I have been saying.
So it's
a religious war. Attack on India. Attack on our nation.
Yeah, and this is happening, Gaurav, it was once every 3 days, then once every day, and now twice a day. That's how serious it is. Waris, I have a question for you. Would you at least admit, that Hindus, no, I want to know whether Waris will at least have some tinge of honesty today. Waris, as someone who always says Muslims are being targeted, will you be a little honest today for a change and say that Hindus are being targeted in Kashmir? Will you say that, please? Are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir?
Well, first
are Hindus being targeted, not first, not second, not third? Are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir? Are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir? Are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir, Waris?
Rahul Bhatt, Amreen Bhatt, Riaz Ahmed Thakur, Saifullah Qadri, Vijay Kumar,
he won't say.
Ragini Bala. I condemn the killings of all our Hindu brothers and sisters, minority Hindus, because violence is of no use. We have always condemned.
Now, are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir?
But because of whom this?
You said there's never been a Hindu genocide.
The BJP government is responsible for the killings of these innocent our Hindu brothers and sisters. Modi and his BJP is busy in promoting the film. Earlier they were busy promoting Kashmir files. Now they are busy promoting
10 करोड़ है 100 करोड़ पे भारी है 100 करोड़ तो हिंदू ही है ना आप क्या कम है
don't change the topic come to the point Mr. Pathan, come to the point.
They doesn't even have the courage to say that Hindus
are the Hindus being targeted and killed in Kashmir. Please say this.
I say I condemn violence of all kinds. Don't you listen to that? This is a serious debate. Don't interrupt when I am making my point.
Yeah, how many more need to die for you to say Hindus are being killed? How many more need to be butchered for you to say Hindus are being killed, Waris Pathan?
Who is responsible?
Are Hindus being killed?
But who is responsible?
Waris Pathan, say once.
And where is your lobby?
Hindus are being targeted.
Where is your candlelight brigade? Where are your placard
They are
holders?
still continuing with the mistakes.
Led by Bollywood.
They're
Where
all
are the
hiding.
Bollywood
They've gone
placard
underground.
brigade?
They will not come out.
Where is the political voice? Where you can see Arnab, our Hindu brothers leaving Srinagar airport. Kindly see the video.
He's not saying anything. Gaurav Bhatia is responding to him right now.
People are living. Who is responsible for this second exodus of Kashmiri Pandits?
Arnab,
BJP
Gaurav Bhatia.
responsible for this
You
second
know,
exodus of
they
Kashmiri
are
Pandits.
so
The Modi
poisonous.
government, they use water
I will
cannons on
just
them.
tell
They
you,
catch them.
Mr. Waris Pathan should
Now
pay
they
heed.
want to
His
leave.
leader
Who
has
is
tweeted
responsible for
something,
it?
please.
But Mr. BJP,
You know, Arnab,
Modi
please
government
ask him
will
to
do
be
anything.
quiet.
I am talking on a serious note.
Don't heckle, please.
Waris,
Mr.
kindly be
BJP
quiet for a
कुछ
minute.
होता है, बौखला गए आप, चुप होइए.
Sisters, I say I
Please.
condemn violence. So who said that? No, बौखलाए
सुनिए.
तो आप गए हो. कश्मीरी पंडितों को सिर्फ
चलिए.
पॉलिटिकल इसके लिए आपने यूज
Okay,
किया है.
now,
अपने पॉलिटिकल फायदे के लिए आपने हमारे कश्मीरी भाइयों
अब
को
चुप
इस्तेमाल किया है.
कराइए.
गौरव भाटिया. This is the failure
Please
of the
चुप
Modi
कराइए.
government. You know terrorists are coming from
इनको
Pakistan.
शांत
Why
कराइए.
did you not
Arnab,
stop
then
them?
मैं-
What prevents
इनको
you?
verbal diarrhea हो
now,
गया.
Waris-
No sensitivity.
Waris, he's
No
responding to you. It's a sensitive debate. You have clearly decided not to say that Hindus are being targeted for whatever hypocritical or political reason. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. One sec.
आपको कौन सा डायरिया हुआ है? Kindly go there, save our
Arnab.
brothers and sisters. You are sitting, your LG is there. Had this happened in some other
Arnab,
state, what
please
would you have
इनको
done?
शांत
The
करा
chief
लीजिए.
minister
He
of the
brings
state,
down
the
the
president
level
को
of the
लगाओ.
debate.
खत्म करो.
Every
Now your
Waris
LG is
Pathan,
sitting
don't
there.
beat round the bush.
Responsibility
Waris
of the
Pathan,
state
don't
to
beat
take care
round the
of the
bush.
security.
Admit.
Who is responsible for so many killings? So
Everything
many
is in
killings.
front of you. Admit it.
He won't
Gaurav
admit.
Bhatia, you are bringing the level of
Arnab,
debate
Arnab,
down.
you
Okay, Gaurav Bhatia is responding. Bring the fader down. Gaurav Bhatia is responding right now. Thank you, Gaurav.
So you are blaming me. Gaurav Bhatia, your government
Arnab, you asked a very simple question to Mr. Waris Pathan. Can you say that Hindus are being targeted? And could he answer? He couldn't. You know why? Because these are the people who will come out to say terror has no religion, ignoring the fact that Hindus are being targeted today. But a party who has Muslimin in its name, and Asaduddin Owaisi today tweeted, Arnab, he said that Modi government is busy promoting movies. That means Mr. Owaisi has a problem that Kashmir files expose the jihadis, and this person also is a jihadi, because today he cannot muster the courage to condemn the terrorists, to stand with the Hindus who are also fellow citizens for this person. I condemn OAC for doing cheap petty politics on this sensitive issue and not mustering the courage to say that jihadis need to be tackled. And if it belongs to Islam, OAC needs to say that yes, radical Islamists are a threat to the country, even if it is costing him his vote bank. But he would not. Rather, he will blame Kashmir files. That is the way Rahul Gandhi and OAC, they do their, and this man sitting here, he was the one who said, "Hum 10 crore hai, 100 crore pe bhari hai." So is he also not a supporter of the jihadi ideology? Did you say or did you not? Mr. Chief Person, the jihadi that you are, did you utter or not? Arnab, do you think he is better than the jihadis? This very Waris Pathan, he uttered, "हम 10 crore हैं, 100 crore पे भारी है." Asaduddin Owaisi did not condemn the killing today in his tweet. Rather, he is busy making political points.
Man walks into the bank.
No, I'd also like to see an ounce of courage in people like Muhammad Aqib Renzu Shah tonight. I would like to see an ounce of courage from people like Muhammad Aqib Renzu Shah tonight. You have political ambitions. You want to be a politician, but you don't have the courage to come out and protest when Hindus are being killed in Kashmir. Muhammad Aqib Renzu Shah, what is the point of planning a political career? And I put you next to Ejaz Hussain, who's member of the DDC in Srinagar. What is the point of trying to get into politics when you can't even be honest and speak up today. If you are going to end up being another of the Omar Mehbooba type of politicians who will not say that Hindus are being killed, then what's the point? Why don't you say? Why are Kashmiris quiet today? Why don't they hit the roads? Why isn't there a mass protest in Srinagar? Allow me. Why isn't there a mass protest in Srinagar? When Hindus are being killed left, right and center, even right now, there's been an attack in Budgam. Right now. Whose permission do you need? Mohammad Aqib Renzusha. Take all the young political activists like yourself, hit the streets tomorrow, carry out a protest against both the terrorists and their overground workers. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? You tell Ijaz Hussain, why don't you do that?
Let me first give some... Let me... Yeah, I'll tell. I don't need... He's aware of everything. See, let me tell you first, you shouldn't be biased. If you are telling you are questioning my courage, I'm the one, along with my elected corporators, I start Aakhir Kab Tak. This is we people who did that, and we openly
Are
protested
Hindus being killed
Pakistan.
in Kashmir?
This is not your...
Are Hindus being killed in Kashmir? Are Hindus
Let me, Arnab, don't put your words in my mouth.
Are Hindus being killed in Kashmir? Are Hindus being killed? Are Hindus being killed in Kashmir? Let's settle that issue first. Are Hindus being targeted in Kashmir? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're a Hindu, you have to live under the fear of getting killed anytime in Kashmir. If you're a Hindu, you are told to run for your life in Kashmir. No, 1 minute. Let's deal with the issue. I will not move away from it. That's the central point. Mohammad Aqib Renzusha, that's the central point. Are Hindus being systematically killed in Kashmir or not? Say it. Say it in detail. Why are they being killed?
Yes.
Why are
what
Hindus
is the policy of central government on this?
Why are Hindus being killed?
It's Pakistan's
why are
policy.
Hindus being killed?
It's Pakistan's policy. It's Pakistan's policy.
So it's Pakistan's policy to kill Hindus in Kashmir. So what is your policy? What is your policy to protest against it or to be quiet about it? You're scared of Pakistan?
Don't
on your own country's soil?
I'm not running.
No, I'm asking you. I'm not telling you you're a radical, but Rahul Bhatt was killed on the 12th of May. Rajni Bala was killed on the 31st of May. Vijay Kumar was shot dead today. And 15 minutes back we had news of another attack in Budgam. Are Hindus being killed? Are Hindus being killed? And for what reason? What are you waiting for? The Kashmir Minorities Forum has issued an ultimatum. Hindus are leaving Kashmir entirely. Will you be happy to live in a Kashmir where there's not a single Hindu? Where there's not a single Hindu in the state? Will that make you happy? Then go out there and protest.
We condemn. Don't
go out there. Your condemnations mean nothing.
We are not.
Your condemnations mean nothing. I want Ijaz Hussain on the debate right now. Ijaz Hussain. I find the silence to be stifling. I find the silence to be stifling. I need you to speak up. You don't need my encouragement. Of course there is silence. There's a convenient silence. Ijaz, is there not a convenient silence?
There is no silence. We condemned. We protested.
Ijaz.
We are losing our brothers. Tell me what is the policy of central government. Tell me.
Ijaz Hussain is on the debate.
I request all the people, all the panelists, please. Please, all the panelists. See, we are very unfortunate what is happening right now over in Kashmir. We are very perturbed. All the people who are associated with some political, our nationalistic people, all are very perturbed. And right now what I am thinking is, see, we don't need to score brownie points. It's very true that Hindus are being humiliated from 89 here. And right now also they are facing such kind of cowardly attacks. What is my opinion is that Pakistan has changed the strategy. First they used to attack security forces. Right now they are what they are feeling is to attack unarmed persons and then Hindus and the nationalistic forces. All those who speak for India, they just want to attack them and create a sense of insecurity and fear among the people so that we can leave. But we are not going to leave anywhere. I am telling you very straight. Some people having transfer issues, they can leave because they are here for jobs. But we are not here for jobs. We are here for our jobs. Policy is very straight. I am telling you, whatever government is doing right now, it's only because they are being rattled. Pakistan is being rattled by this thing. We have created seat here. That's only for anti-terrorism.
Show strength.
We have created
whatever
things.
No, it's not a question of preaching. It's not a question of preaching.
We have created anti-terrorism laws.
No, Ijaz, it's not a question of preaching. What I'm telling you
as a friend, it's not about debate. I'm
not. Nobody's preaching here.
Yes.
But today I just want to say one thing, and Dr. Nirmal Singh understand it. There are visuals of Kashmiri Pandits, and I am just too tired, Mr. Nirmal Singh, and I see that tiredness in.
Why don't you allow me to make my point?
No, 1 minute, Waris. I allowed you to make my point, or you allowed to make mine. Why do you get disturbed if I'm making mine? Madhu Kishwar.
I would like to ask this to Dr. Nirmal Singh. What is their policy? I need to answer. I need an answer for this. Whole Kashmir is looking for the answer. We are getting killed.
You put that more as a challenge than as a question. You put that more as a challenge than as a question to Dr. Nirmal Singh, but I'd let him reply.
No, whose responsibility was that to provide security? The government. But you will never target the government.
And you will never speak a word against the terrorists. And you will never speak a word against the terrorists.
Why don't you say?
We must understand.
I am condemning the terrorist activity. I condemn the terrorists. Kill them. I don't mind. But what about those people? Security leaving them.
Secondly,
who are the terrorists?
Madhu.
Why is Modi not providing them security?
Okay, Nirmal Singh. Dr. Nirmal Singh is making a point. Dr. Nirmal Singh. Thank you. Dr. Nirmal Singh.
I condemn. You don't want to appreciate
condemnation.
That is the difficulty here.
Dr. Nirmal Singh.
We are fighting proxy war, and the enemy is changing his strategy. Secondly, we have to go for all-out operation against these terrorists, these cowards, these buggers. Thirdly, the leaders about whom you are referring, whether it's Mehbooba Mufti Umar or Farooq Abdullah, they have to be restricted. They have to be, their security has to be toned down. The government has done it, but it's required further. Because they are the people who are providing food to the terrorists. Thirdly, the civil society.
I have a visual coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I have a visual coming in. On the latest attack, I've just got the visual coming in, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute on the debate. I'm breaking the pictures right now, and they'll be on your screen in a matter of seconds right now. I have a visual, a still image, which has come in from the latest attack. And it breaks our heart to bring the latest images to you, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what is happening in Kashmir today. This is what is happening in Kashmir today. Day after day, every single minute, every single minute, and this is one of the two non-local laborers there, injured, ladies and gentlemen. And this incident has happened in Budgam. Let me run the pictures full frame, please. Viewers, every single minute, another attack is being reported, and I ask you, Gaurav Bhatia, how many more? And why do you need goading? Change your approach in Kashmir, Gaurav Bhatia. Change the approach in Kashmir. We need an operation all out. Either we do that, or we say let things continue the way they are. But clearly something's gone wrong. What I find very strange is your lack of acknowledgement that something has gone wrong, Gaurav. You're not willing to acknowledge it. Why?
Intentions are good, but no action taken.
Arnab, you asked me how many more. Arnab, you asked me how many more, and I would say not a single human life will be lost. The terrorists will be brought down, and there would be a muscular policy. And I, with some responsibility, say this, let's have faith in the soldiers of the country, the police, the government of the country, and the Prime Minister. Let's have faith. Let's not do cheap, petty politics. It pains us too when such visuals are shown. You think the Prime Minister would not be pained? The Bharatiya Janata Party leaders would not be pained? And we will fight it together, brother to brother.
It's not.
We will bring down these terrorists.
Gaurav Bhatia, it's not a question of
airstrike is the reply. That will be done. अरे गद्दारों चुप करो जो गद्दार वारिस पठान यहाँ बैठे हैं आपके लीडर से टेररिस्ट को कंडेम नहीं होता
1 minute. He was making a point to Waris. Let's not overreact. Thank you. Waris and Gaurav.
So few our Hindu brothers and sisters are losing their life every day.
As if you care. In that case, Gaurav, in that case, 1 minute, because I shall not have this fake rhetoric from Waris. Waris, my point to you is, no, then my point to Waris is, Gaurav, 1 minute.
We'll look at the religion of the terrorists.
Then I'd go to Waris. I have a question for you, Waris. Stop shouting, Waris. My question to you is, in that case, and can I be heard a little louder over Waris, please? Thank you very much. And Waris, my question to you is then, show some courage, go to Srinagar, take the flight tomorrow morning to Srinagar, stand in Lal Chowk and say, stop killing my Hindu brothers and sisters in Kashmir. Go to a protest in Lal Chowk, otherwise don't shout on my program.
I said this.
Go to Srinagar tomorrow, carry out a protest. Go. If you have the guts, go. Go to Srinagar and carry out a protest against the killing of Hindus there.
Responsibility is there to provide security. Did Modi go there? Since 18 days our Hindu brothers and sisters are protesting there. Did anybody from the BJP go there and ask them what do they require?
The BJP leaders are standing there with the bereaved families.
Okay, I'd like to go to...
Standing with the...
Nirmal Singh is also responding to Waris Pathan. Nirmal Singh on the left. Nirmal Singh is on the debate right now. Be quiet, Waris, 1 minute. Nirmal Singh. Only 2 on the screen. Thank you.
Mehbooba, Waris Pathan are Owaisi. They are cowards. They will never condemn Pakistan. They will never condemn this terrorism. They will never stand with the Hindu victims who are being ethnically cleansed from the Kashmir Valley. They will never go over there. That's the tragedy of Kashmir.
Kindly take responsibility.
But we are at an inflection point. We are at an inflection point. The meeting is tomorrow. I'd like to go to...
You people, you are cowards. You are hypocrites. Makkar hai aap log. Aap yahan log khoon ki nadi
I'd like to bring in Madhu Kishwar right now, please. I'd like to bring in Madhu Kishwar with Dr. Nirmal Singh. Madhu Kishwar with Nirmal Singh. Thank you, please. Madhu Kishwar with Nirmal Singh on the screen, please.
doesn't dose of you.
Madhu Kishwar with Nirmal Singh, please, on the screen. Thank you. And my question to Nirmal Singh, let's bring down the temperature for a minute. You see, the fact is, Dr. Nirmal Singh, that I am convinced, and you are convinced, and Madhu Kishwar is convinced, that Hindus in the valley have become sitting ducks, right? They are sitting and waiting in hundreds and thousands, wanting to leave tomorrow. I think we are broadly on the same page. What you need to understand, Nirmal Singh, is we are not against your views, but we may have a different with your approach. And that's what I want Madhu Kishwar to elaborate on, please. That we want to see a tougher approach, uncompromising approach. That's what. Madhu Kishwar.
Firstly, Arnab, there's no point being defensive, killing after somebody's been killed and then say we'll neutralize. Secondly, BJP has promised creation of Kashmiri Pandit colonies and Sainik colonies. That's the only way Pandits or Hindus or Sikhs can survive. Why have they not made provisions for that? Why are they giving them these little enclaves, these little ghettos for 1,000 or 700 people where they are sitting ducks? Why aren't they creating Panun Kashmir? Why aren't they creating Sainik colonies? Why aren't they changing the demographic profile of Kashmir in the way to reverse what the terrorists have done? And there's no point asking PDP, NC, or all these Waris Pathans to condemn, because I believe they're all complicit. PDP, NC leaders and the likes of Waris Pathan are complicit in these killings. Therefore, there's no point asking them for words of sympathy or condemnation. I think we need to focus at what the government of India needs to do. Hang them all, I don't care. But you're right, their security should be withdrawn. Their sarkari banglas should be taken away. I don't know why Mehbooba is allowed to stick to the government accommodation, the palatial accommodation she occupies. Let her go and live in her own house, on her own security. Most important, Sainik colonies and Panun Kashmir. Safe, secure enclave for Kashmiris in large numbers.
No, Waris, I'm not extending this debate. I would only say this. I would say this. Please understand that those who are leaving their homes, and I'll only end by saying this: those who are leaving their homes, ladies and gentlemen, are not leaving with joy. They are leaving with a lot of pain. And if nothing else is an acknowledgement of our empathy towards what they are going through, we need to have a very hardline approach in the Kashmir Valley all over again. On the other side, we have exclusive details of what